Top of the morning. Say, man, we got some big news. Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. Let's talk about it in this video. But before we do, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's cook. Say, man, hey, man, we got some big news this morning. Yeah, now we know that Shakur been on Teofimo Lopez's helmet for a minute. Because for a minute, every time Teo did an interview, for some reason, he had Shakur's name in his mouth, slandering Shakur. The top ranked, they want all the black fighters like the Shakur Stevensons. Shakur ain't this and Shakur ain't that. And it was crazy because it started coming out of nowhere. Like he was hitting Shakur upside the head, you know what I'm saying, blindsided from all angles. Every interview he did. And the worst part about it is, at the time, Teo and Shakur, they were supposed to be cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? They was cool. And then Teo just started coming out doing interviews, Shakur this and Shakur that. And you can see, a blind man can see that it was jealousy. That's all it was, you know. They all came up together, and Shakur was the one that was always talked about. He was the one that went to the Olympics, got the silver medal. He was the one that was winning all the national tournaments. And sometimes with that comes jealousy. When you at the top, you got your peers around you that smile in your face, but they really jealous and they really want you to fail. And you seen that clearly with Teo when he started coming out venting about Shakur Stevenson constantly in every interview for no reason. So, of course, Shakur was like, okay, well, if I ain't this and I ain't that, and I'm just a hype job and they just match made me well and all of that, you know, BS that he was talking, let's fight. You know, Shakur even said, hey, man, I'll move up to 140 and me and Teo can get it. Let's get it. But with Teo saying all of that shit he was saying, he also said he would never fight Shakur Stevenson. And of course, he made the excuse, oh, he too boring, you know, this and that. I'll never fight him. I'll never give him the opportunity. He don't deserve to fight me. Well, looks like things have changed. Teo recently came out and said that it was either Richardson Hitchens or Shakur Stevenson. He asked the whole world, who you want me to fight next? Hitchinson, Africa, or Shakur Stevenson? Of course, you know who everybody said, man. For real. You know the fight that everybody want to see, man. Come on now. It ain't even a question to be asked. Although, no disrespect to Africa, but everybody want to see Shakur and Teofimo Lopez get it popping, right? And everybody let them know. So this morning, right, after all the ducking that Teofimo been doing, after all the times that Shakur Stevenson been calling him out, talking about he'll move up to 140 to fight Teofimo, you know, finally Teofimo Lopez comes out today and he says that it's going down in January. Teofimo versus Shakur Stevenson in January. Yeah, that's what he said. He said it's going down in January. And the only question is Teo capping again? Is Teo gonna duck, or is he really gonna take this smoke? Now, we know that this is a big possibility because Shakur, you know, he talked and he said that he didn't want to fight for the rest of the year, right? He wanted to heal up his hands and he wanted to come back healthy. One thing about Shakur, man, when he had that hand surgery, a lot of people don't realize that he came back way too fast. He came back in like 4.5 months. And this is the same surgery that Jermell Charlo had. Jermell Charlo took like 17 months off. Canelo Alvarez, he had the same hand surgery. He took over a year off, and a lot of people have had this same hand surgery that Shakur had, but they actually came back, you know, after a year's time, and they gave themselves time to heal. Shakur didn't do that. Shakur came back, and he was supposed to be fighting Kid Austin, ended up fighting Josh Padley. We know that whole story, right? but his hands wasn't fully healed, right? We seen it in the pictures. We seen him re-injure his hands in the Josh Padley fight to where he had to turn orthodox, right? He's a southpaw fighter. He had to turn orthodox and finish Josh Padley off in the orthodox stand to the body because his hands wasn't right. We even heard him say that he re-injured his hands again in the Williams Zepeda fight, but he sucked it up and still got the job done. And this is all because he's not giving himself enough time to heal his hands properly, go through the proper, protocol that he has to go through with rehab and whatnot. But this time, he said, you know what? I'm going to do what I got to do to get 100% healthy so I don't keep having these hand issues. Floyd Mayweather had the hand issues, right? Floyd Mayweather took like 2 years off at one point. He came back and he was straight. We know that Floyd always had hand problems, but we didn't see it play out in his fights after he took that 2 years off and came back and let himself heal properly. Well, it's time for Shakur to do that. He's taking that time, and I think that when Shakur comes back fully healthy, he gonna be on Teofimo helmet. For real. I don't see Teofimo even coming close to beating Shakur. Now, Teo, he's a hell of a fighter. I ain't gonna say, man, Teo is, to me, and this ain't no hate, I think that Teo overhyped because when we look at a lot of his fights, Teo don't perform well. You feel me? Teo's still living off that Teofimo Lopez. Teo is still living off of the Lomachenko performance, right? But right after the Lomachenko performance, he got beat by George Kambosos. Then he moved up to 140. He beat some Rudy Poop named Campos, and then he had problems with Sandor Martin. Now, granted, everybody we've seen in the ring with Sandor Martin, they've had problems with him. Even Puyo had problems with him. So Sandor Martin ain't no pushover, but he had problems with Sandor Martin. A lot of people thought he lost that fight, right? He had problems with Jermaine Ortiz. I definitely thought he lost the Jermaine Ortiz fight. He went to war with Steve Claggett, even though he won that Steve Claggett fight clearly. He went to war with Steve Claggett. So who has Teofimo Lopez really shined against and really beat on that level besides Lomachenko that claimed he had a shoulder injury? Now, I'm not going to use that as an excuse for Lomachenko because I ain't going to use no excuse for Teofimo Lopez with all the excuses that people give him for the horrible performances that he put on. Or I ain't going to even say horrible performances. I'm going to say when he struggled against fighters that people think that he should really go in there and dominate. Now, he did beat Josh Taylor, and he's holding on to that Josh Taylor win also. But come on, man. Josh Taylor just retired. Josh Taylor ain't won a fight since he fought Teofimo Lopez. He shouldn't have won the fight 17 months before he fought Teofimo Lopez, right? And so Josh Taylor ain't been that for a long time. Josh Taylor was coming off a 16, 17-month layoff when he fought Teofimo and coming out of alcohol rehab. A lot of people don't even know that. So Josh Taylor was a shell of the fighter that he was back when he was at his prime, when he was fighting the Regis Prograis. When he was fighting the Jose Ramirez's. He ain't the same fighter. You even see the fighters in that same era, right, that was dominating 140, like Regis Prograis. He ain't the same fighter no more. He a shell of himself. Jose Ramirez, a shell of himself. So, man, it just shows you that none of them guys from back then is the same fighter. So, Teo ain't really beat nobody besides Teofimo, I keep on calling that man Teofimo Lopez, besides Vasil Lomachenko. Like, that's real talk. So he ain't gonna get it there. And to me, I think that Shakur Stevenson can put on a dominant performance against Teo. He can fight him in the pocket. He can fight him in the mid-range. He can fight him on the outside. He can move. He can go in there and bang with him because Teo ain't knocking nobody out at 140, right? His power didn't carry over. And I just see Shakur Stevenson dominating the fight, especially if he's healthy. And we all know that Teo have problems with slick fighters that know how to box. He get frustrated. The game plan go out the window. Teo likes fighters that come forward and aggressive. That way he can style on them. He ain't gonna be able to do none of that with Shakur. I know a lot of people gonna think that Teofimo Lopez is gonna win this fight and Shakur ain't this and Shakur ain't that. Well, we're gonna see when the fight comes. Bet something. Yeah, if you really believe that, bet something. Anyway, let me know how y'all feel about this. Do y'all think it's really gonna go down? Or do y'all think that Teo gonna duck? Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again, and I'm gone.